Hi, I'm Astrid Clements, the founder of the AstridTravel Club, and I welcome you to my first video where I'm going to share basic information about the club, how it evolved, why I've done it, why it would be something that possibly you would be interested in joining. I'll kind of give you a little background on my evolution in travel, how I got involved with this, and then how actually the travel club became a reality. My first, I guess you would say, venture into sharing my travel ideas, trips, what I feel like is of value and why I'm even doing this is I developed a website about 5 years ago, Astrid Solo Travel Advisor. And this particular website focused on affordable luxury ideas for the solo traveler, as well as I had envisioned products and services. Well, I started out with the website basically as a blog. To make a long story short, I retired in 2005 and it got bored. So I decided, well, I think I'm going to try and develop a blog. Well, I knew nothing about technology, a website, or anything. So fast forward, I ended up meeting various people who helped me develop the blog, taught me how to take pictures, everything. So I was just, I'm one of these people that if I get an idea, if I'm inspired and I'm passionate about something, I'm not concerned that I don't know how to do it at first. I just figure out how to do it as I go. I guess probably I'd say that I'm just a natural born problem solver. So I seem to always be able to figure out what I need when I need it. So I started blogging, and the blog took off. My genre was affordable luxury. I mean, most of the bloggers, especially the bloggers that dealt with solo travel, were backpackers or, were adventure kind of travelers. They weren't focused on the luxury space. And, I've always liked to travel nicely, but I must say I do not like to waste money. So I've always looked for what I consider a luxury that's affordable, that really is nice, that's authentic, that's not just something that is kind of contrived and cold, etc. I mean, I like to go where the action is that really does have substance to it. So I started my blog, and one of the things I did to launch the blog is I went on an around the world trip solo. I went, it was a 50-day trip, and I wanted to show how a solo traveler could go around the world and didn't have to be on a tour or on a cruise or whatever, of which that's fine. If that's the kind of travel that you like to do, or you have to do it that way to feel comfortable, I understand that. But I did find that when you go on these tours or, any large group with a large travel company, that the solo traveler pays what's called a single supplement, which is basically either fare and a half or an extra 25 to 30% more for your fare. Well, I had always wanted to go around the world. So, like I said, when I launched the blog, I wanted to show that you could go around the world solo and do it for half of the cost that you would do when you went with Abercrombie and Kent or National Geographic. And that's not to say anything negative about their trips, but I did a lot of research, and I felt like I really could execute this trip for $32,500. Now that's for 50 days, and that comes out to about $650 a day, which includes everything: business class fares outside of the continental United States, 5-star luxury hotels, private guides when I needed them, pickup service at the airport. I mean, everything that I would need to feel comfortable, to feel safe, and also to have a very enriching experience. So what I did is I went to 7 different destinations. You can read all about it on my blog, Astrid Solo Travel Advisor. But it was a fabulous experience. I even had a trip disaster, which I rarely have on this, but I only went over my budget. I think it was something like $600, even with the trip disaster. But I started showing that you can do things very nice, and you can do it as a solo traveler. And when you're a solo traveler, you can wake up when you want to wake up. You can go where you want to go. You can spend as much time shopping or in a museum or talking, getting to know other people as long as you want to. I mean, you have the freedom to do what you want to do. So that's a little bit on how I was developing the blog, to show people that you can do these things by yourself, and you don't have to get involved with these big groups. And women are becoming so much more independent financially, and just in doing things that they want to do when they wanted to do. So the blog really became I got hits. Half of my audience is from all over the world, and half is from the United States. So I really enjoyed doing that. That evolved into a podcast. Well, I started doing Solo Travel Talk with Astrid, and that was another thing that I really loved. Well, I got to a point where I just there were not enough hours in the day for me to share my ideas, to answer questions, to do the things that were coming to me. So I knew I needed an assistant. So at this point, I want to bring my assistant in to introduce her to you, and then I'll get into how the club actually evolved, what it's all about, and why you should consider joining. Here is my assistant, Madeline Freret, and I'd like Madeline to tell you a little bit about how she came to me, why she even wanted to do this, why she felt like she was suited to get involved with expanding Astrid Solo Travel Advisor, and basically how we ended up developing the Astrid Travel Club. So Madeline, just a little bit about why you think you gravitated to doing this with me.
Right. So as Astrid said, my name is Madeline Freret, and I first met Astrid when I was a junior in college, and I had just returned from a semester abroad where I studied in Australia for about 6 months. And during that time abroad, I took my first solo trip to the Australian outback and had a completely life-changing experience. I had been bitten by the travel bug before that and visited Europe when I was in high school, but this trip was really me branching off on my own and experiencing solo travel for the first time. So when I came back home, I was looking for an internship during the school year and saw a posting on an LSU internship board for Astrid Solo Travel Advisor, which I felt was just perfect.
Godsend. She was a godsend to me.
It really was. And I think Astrid and I hope you agree, hit it off right away.
Totally.
Just right from the beginning, I felt like we just had a special connection, and we're both passionate about a very specific kind of travel, the kind of travel that is more than just sightseeing, but is meaningful, and it teaches you something about the world and about yourself. So that's how I started working for Astrid Solo Travel Advisor. and then maybe you want to introduce
Yes.
the club. Yeah.
Yeah. So fast forward, Madeline started blogging with me. She helped me, update the website. We developed a marketplace, and we were going great guns. And then I had also told Madeline, I had done some trips for the Arts Council. People started following me and wanting to do my types of trips. And so the director of the Arts Council in Baton Rouge came to me and she said, Astrid, I want you to help me develop what's called art routes. And we're going to go to different places and experience their culture on various levels and bring back some of our ideas to help develop the culture in Baton Rouge more fully, etc. So I did 2 trips for them, one to St. Petersburg, Russia, and another one to San Miguel. It was all wonderful. They all loved it. So specifically how the club developed is I had a group or one of my old friends. She said, Astrid, I want you to help us. I have a group of women. They want to go to Mexico, and some of them are scared. We can't decide where we want to stay and what some of the things we should do and what we shouldn't do. So I met them for lunch, and we had a really nice hour and a half time together. And at the end of the meeting, my friend Joellen said, Astrid, you have to develop a travel club. This is, you have to do this. And when she said that, it was one of those moments when it clicked, because I had actually thought about doing a travel club when I first did the blog, but I thought, I can't be doing that. I don't have enough time for that. There's not enough hours in the day. So I let that slide. But when she said it, I had Madeline. I had other people coming to me saying, can I go on your trips with you? Or will you create a trip for me? And I thought, I'm not really a travel agent. I don't want to be a travel agent. I will share my ideas. I'll tell you what, I'll help you figure out what you should do or what not to miss and how to actually do it, etc. So I came back to Madeline and I started talking about, I said, Madeline, what do you think about, would you be interested in helping me develop a travel club? I said, I don't want to do all the administrative things. I definitely can't deal with the technology on it because I'm still very technologically challenged. I can do the basics that I have to do. But, I'm not like Madeline. I mean, Madeline's young. She can do anything. I mean, she's intuitive, too, when it comes to technology. So it makes it great. So we basically brainstormed on what type of person would be interested in really substantive but fun travel that had cultural enrichment in it, travel that touches Madeline and I. Very interesting travel, but also that was pleasurable and that lets you have the option to go off on your own if you wanted, etc. So, Madeline, why don't you share a little bit about the brainstorming, what we went through and how we kind of focused on the type of club we wanted, who we thought would be the right fit for our club. And I'll let Madeline talk for a little while, and then I'll obviously come back in and butt in because I'm a big talker. So,
I think we really started by dissecting what it was that we had in common about the type of travel that we loved, because
yes.
Obviously, we traveled a little bit differently, me being a broke college student at the time. But we agreed that we appreciated the kind of travel that really focused on experiences that were authentic and sort of took you off the beaten path, something that you can't really get exactly from a guidebook. And I guess it just sort of grew from there. We decided that we wanted people to feel as if they could enrich their lives by taking a trip with the AstridTravel Club, that it was more than just travel, that it was something that they were doing for them and doing to enrich their lives. And I think that that's something that we both crave, is that zest for life that comes with a wonderful trip. So we tried to think about how can we best facilitate that.
One of the things that we did is we talked a lot about between ourselves what mindful travel is, and we talked a lot about mindful travel and what it means to take a trip that you use, or you think about it quite a bit, and how you prepare to go on a trip. It's not just about thinking about what you're going to wear and reading a little bit about what you're going to be seeing,
Right.
etc. It's a lot more. It's because I really do think in most cases the reason why people travel is there's something that is kind of drawing them to go there, whether they've seen pictures or whatever. But it's always more than that. There's something in your soul, I've always felt like, or in your psyche, that is drawing you there. So when you're planning trips or whatever, you want to kind of blend that whatever it is that is drawing you to this place. You want to prepare yourself so you can really absorb and get the most you can of your trip. So what we did was, one of the things we did, we decided we were going to, as one of the benefits to join our club, is we would give you a travel journal, a really nice journal that we actually got accolades that Madeline designed it. but we worked together on a set of questions. Well, first of all, we did an expose on what it is to be a mindful traveler, and the benefit of having a mindful consciousness when you travel.
I think we agreed that the difference between a good trip and a bad trip sometimes is just having the right mindset. Two people who have the exact same trip might view it completely differently, and therefore you have a completely different experience, and it means something totally different to you.
Yes. We developed this journal with our mindful expose, and then we have 10 questions in there for you to kind of ask yourself before, during, and after any trip, that kind of will prime the pump, that will help you get into what we consider the right mind space when you travel. Okay? Right. Okay. So that's kind of, we started the concept of the club with this kind of psyche, okay? Right. And what we wanted is to have it to be one of the natural things that drew a certain type of traveler to us, because we know that what we're doing is not for everyone, but we want this to be kind of like a set of like-minded people from all over the world that kind of really do have a desire or a want for the types of trips and things that we like when we travel. Okay, so that's kind of the foundation. The second thing is, I said, Madeline, I don't want anything that we do to be big groups. Small groups are so much more enriching to travel with than too many people. And I've been on all kinds of group tours and group situations, and I have found that the ideal travel group really is no more than 6. 4 is good. That's that's probably very good too. 10 is the max. And usually when you have 10, it's probably good if some or all of the people already know each other or have traveled. But we want our groups to be, everybody feels comfortable with them within our groups. But like I said, They're small, so it gives you the opportunity to really, end up meeting, not meeting, but really
Connecting.
Help me, Madeline.
Yeah, just a better group cohesion. You can really get to know each other, and it's not so big where, separate, smaller break-off groups form. It's less logistically challenging. You don't have to deal with any major tour buses or anything like that.
And we can use like limousines or nice vans. We don't have to have anything big.
Right.
And then I found too that even if you have one person in your group that has a little bit of a different personality, or maybe a little bit more needy, or whatever, even you feel not as calm. It's amazing if the group is small enough. Everybody ends up blending in the end. You end up helping that person, and she gets, in the end, she's the coolest one of the group.
Yeah, I think that happens oftentimes when you just really get to know somebody. Like maybe somebody is not as open in the beginning, and if you were in a big group, you might never get to know the real them.
Absolutely. And that's kind of also one of the spirits of what we want to create in this club, and how, when you go on our trips, there's small groups. So you get to know these people, and they're a member of the club. Now, that's one of the things. The next thing is we only really all of our trips go to one city. I am big on not packing, unpacking, having to have your luggage out in front of your room at 5:30, but you can't go to breakfast until 7:30. Everybody's got to be on the bus by 8:15. I mean, I don't like to wait. I don't like to wake up early. That just jars me to begin with. There's nothing wrong with it if you're comfortable with that. But our trips go to one city, okay? So we'll take day trips to the countryside or, to somewhere noteworthy. But it's basically one city, and they vary the time frame of the trips are either kind of like a long weekend getaway, 4 days, or maybe out 8-9 days at the most. Not too much, but enough time to where you can deep dive in a place. Okay, so one city trips. Next is I always have some kind of focus or filter to the place, because I'm trying to bring out what makes the place unique, not just in the food or whatever. I always try to get into the spirit of the place. What has made this culture unique? So I have some kind of focus or theme for the itinerary. Like we created a trip to London and the English countryside. And this trip, the focus or the filter of it is horticulture and gardening, and how you understand the English culture and all the different sides of it, looking through a horticulture or gardening lens. Yeah, it's one of the best ones that I've ever done. But we go to the Chelsea Flower Show, and then we do all kinds of things. We go to one of the most beautiful castles called the Zion House, and it's just outside of London, and it's this gorgeous castle that is quintessential old English aristocracy in terms of interiors and exteriors. But not only that, it has fabulous gardens. So we do that. We go to the Kew Botanical Gardens. We have a lecture that basically gives you the history of English gardening and why it's important, and the different types of gardens. You'll have lunch in the big conservatory too, in the Kew Gardens. And the Kew Botanical Gardens are magnificent. We do that, but we also throw in some theater. We have one night that we go to a theater performance. We have a dinner cruise down the Thames. We take a day trip through the Cotswolds and go to Blenheim. We go to pubs. And we kind of do all kinds of dinner.
A variety.
Yeah, a variety. We do go, what our fancy dinner is, we're going to have it at the Goring Hotel, which is right around the corner of Buckingham Palace. We take a day trip to Highgrove, which is Prince Charles's estate that he basically found and rescued and basically brought back to life. But this is where he started all of his evolution and focus on organic farming and organic in gardening, and some people say his tree hugging. But
not a bad thing.
This is a special place. Well, he has now opened it up to the public, and you can go there and tour the gardens. And then you can either have lunch or have a champagne tea, and they have a harpist play. I mean, you know, it is Prince Charles.
It's beautiful.
So it's beautiful. And that just gives you a little idea of how, what kind of experiences and itineraries that I create for our trips. So you will have a unique itinerary. But on these itineraries, we also give you free time. You know, everything is included in our trips except a couple of meals, because we want you to have your own space. And, you know, the itineraries are the pace is good enough to where you don't get exhausted, but you get enough interesting things so you can go back to the hotel, have a glass of wine or two, maybe write in our journal, the journal you got, or just socialize with the rest of the group, whatever. So,
yeah, we designed our trips for solo travelers. So we tried to be very cognizant of the fact that solo travelers obviously love their free time, and that's part of the excitement of solo travel is having to fend for yourself and sort of thinking on your feet and having a bit of uncertainty, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So, you know, we want to afford our travelers that opportunity still to have the solo travel experience while on our trips.
Yeah, like if you want to go shopping at Harrods one night and it's not on the itinerary when you're in London, you can do that. But like Madeline said, yeah, these small groups, these tours are geared to solo travelers who don't want to totally go solo. They're not ready to go, you know, just like me, who I like to just traipse off most anywhere. They want to be in some kind of group setting, but not too big. With that said, we have no single supplement. There is no punishment, as I would say, because you're a solo traveler. So there's one price for everybody. Everybody gets their own room. Everything is taken care of you. Basically, all the meals, everything is included on our trips, except maybe one or two meals. Like I said, we let you, you know, you kind of pick what you want to do, or we can, you know, we definitely have a long list of things that we can share with you, or where you might want to eat, etc.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's included. You don't have to worry about tipping any guides or anything like that. You have a trip facilitator on the trip with you, which in most cases
Madeline
will be me, and my job basically is to ensure that our travelers have a completely seamless experience and they don't have to worry about the logistical side of anything, getting from point A to point B and making restaurant reservations and coordinating with the tour guides. Like basically all of the headache aspects of travel you don't have to worry about. I'm there to make sure that everything runs smooth and is relaxing. but I'm also not a chaperone either. Like, I'm just there, you know, to steer things in the right direction, and also afford everybody enough free time and the freedom to do what they really want to do.
Madeline is fabulous with people. She's gifted. So, you know, she's not only organized and so responsible, and I totally, you can totally trust Madeline. I mean, Madeline is there, okay? But she has a way, too, that just kind of, it brings enrichment really into the whole aspect of the trip. I mean, I say that with all sincerity. She is very special, and she loves doing this, and so she's making sure, she will make sure that the van is there to pick you up, or the limo is there. I mean, you don't have to worry about anything. Basically, the only thing that is not included in our trips are the airfare, because we have people that are club members and who come from the trips that come from all over. So we couldn't figure that out. But we typically construct the trip where people can get to the destination all kind of around a certain 2 or 3 hour window. So, so your airfare is not in it. Also, travel insurance. Now that we have so many things going on in the world, if you take one of our international trips, travel insurance is required. It's required for so many reasons that I'm going to do a whole video on that. We haven't gone to the point where we require it for our domestic trips, but you never know. I mean, you know, if things become so difficult to make sure we can execute them, and then people have the risk of losing money. That's the thing that you really want the travel insurance for, besides the medical and the health issues if you're traveling internationally. But that goes into a whole other thing. Let's get back to a few other things with the Astrid Travel Club. You know, we've got the like I said, the theme focused itineraries, the small groups, no single supplement. Everybody gets their own room. You know, you do have free time. Madeline, what else am I missing on how we create the trips?
I think you hit a lot of the major points. I would add not just a private room in any hotel. I think one of your major talents is picking out really unique hotels. A perfect example is the Dar Aniwen in Marrakesh, which is the featured hotel or riad on our Marrakesh trip.
You know, I do spend a lot of time trying to find that wonderful place that will really make a difference and that you'll love it. So, okay, moving right along. That's how the club started, with basically our concept, and we created, I think there was 6 or 7 trips, international trips. Cartagena, St. Petersburg, Russia, Moscow, London, Paris. Oh, my Paris trip focuses on fashion. And we do the coolest things on that. Make your own perfume, meet with a stylist. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Marrakesh. What am I leaving out? Dublin. So those were our initial ones, because they all have unique cultures and something really special that you can get down and experience, and really have something that's a different type of trip. Well, we did our trip to Marrakesh last year, our first one, because we launched last year. And then we started on 2020. Our first trip was going to be to Paris and London. We had those on go. COVID-19 came.
Yeah. And then after the outbreak of the coronavirus, we obviously decided that we couldn't execute those trips and also ensure the safety of our travelers. And, the entire travel industry just sort of came to a halt. So, yeah, I think we really had to take a step back, and we decided, okay, we might be dormant for a while. What can we do in this time? And I think we decided that what we really needed to do first was reflect on the future, reflect on our former travels, and really consider the future of travel and where we want it to go, where we think it should go, and how we can play a part in that.
We have to think differently, live differently, and we're going to travel differently now. And so I said, Madeline, let's create trips to places that are not overcrowded or everybody goes to, but that are interesting and enriching in the United States. Places where people, they could drive to meet up with the tour group if they wanted to. If they didn't want to fly at all, okay? Or that there wouldn't be a lot of logistical issues with flying, changing planes, etc.
And naturally beautiful places too. I think we strategically chose places in the United States that are beautiful because this country is so diverse in many ways and so naturally beautiful. And we also wanted to start integrating more experiences in our trips that allow for time spent in nature and getting outside more. So that was a big focus, I think, as well.
Oh, yeah, because I think we all understood through this quarantine experience is that the need to get out, to interact with people when we could, the value of just being, somewhere where the wind's blowing and there are beautiful trees. It's so soothing when you can't do it. So, so we decided we were going to we've created so far 6 trips now, but these trips are to unique places in the United States: Sedona, Santa Fe, Asheville, Portland, Savannah, the Adirondacks, and Lake Placid. But in these trips, we all have a health and wellness kind of aspect to them. Yes, we're going to not only do food tours and go to interesting places and have people talk to us about different aspects of something unique that's at the place where we're visiting and the culture. But we're going to be doing outdoor activities that are unique to the place. And some will be a little bit more strenuous than others, but none of them, like rock climbing or anything like that. And you'll have the option to opt out if you don't want to do this. But we will be doing things that we think will have that health and wellness aspect to it, because the more that I have thought about travel, and I've always been like, I want to be enriched. I just don't want to go and see the Eiffel Tower. I mean, I want to feel Parisian. You know what I'm saying? I want to get into, but that the renewing of the mind, body, and spirit is what I want the people who travel on our trips, who join our club, who join the AstridTravel Club. It's not our club, it's everybody who joins the club. But that will be what you will be experiencing through travel. It will help renew your mind, body, and spirit. So Madeline and I both felt like adding the health and wellness in nature experience aspect to it. Like in Asheville, we go on a foraging. What's the foraging activity?
Asheville is an incredibly biodiverse area, and the city has a really big culinary scene, and they're very into farm to table cuisine, very fresh, a lot of organic and locally sourced ingredients. And we discovered this very interesting tour where you actually go foraging for food in the forest, and you find local mushrooms and herbs and edible flowers and berries and things like that. And then you take those ingredients to a local chef who incorporates them all into a freshly made dish for you, which I had never seen before, and I thought it was incredible.
Oh, yeah. Well, and Asheville is supposed to be the coolest mountain town in the United States. And when I tell you, it is a cool place. It is so happening there with the art galleries and the art scene and the hiking and the nature scene and the food scene. I mean, Asheville is just...
It's a cool place.
It is cool. That's what I'm trying to say. So, but here again, we wanted to put in unique things and health and wellness things that we think are part of how to have quality living, traveling, mindfulness, everything. As well as in our trips, we really, when we were designing these during COVID, when I said, we're not going to die, Madeline, if they never have another international flight again. We love this so much. We're just going to keep going. We're going to figure out how.
I'm passionate about travel. And, I think our members are too, the kind of people that are interested in joining a club like this, I think feel the same way about traveling. It might not be safe right now, it might not be wise to travel right now, but I do believe that people will want to travel again. I want to travel again. There's so many places that I want to see, and I do think that it is actually important, and it can be good for, like
it
you said,
refreshes you.
Mind, body, and soul.
Yeah, it just recharges it. I know anybody who, even if you go, 60 miles down the road to somewhere you haven't been, and you come back, there's something about the motion and going to another place. You just
get outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, it's really good for you. So that's kind of the history of how we got into this, how I got into it is really because people came to me and wanted me to do it. I've done it. We started out executing successfully, and then we had COVID. So now we have recreated our focus to have domestic trips and international trips. My goal is to create 15 trips, domestic trips in the United States, and 15 in international trips. And what we'll do is we will offer them at specific times, okay? But if you can't go on those trips at those times, if you get a group of, say, 6 people together, we can execute those trips because we've already got all of the people that
our guides and contacts.
Yeah, we have the trips constructed. So if you can't go when it's offered, you can, but you can go at another time. We can make that happen. So if you join the club, this is what the types of trips that you'll be able to go on. Now, we have a $50 a year is our basic membership fee. If you join, you have to join to go on the trips, but if you go on one of the trips, you get $100 discount. So really, it's kind of a Louisiana thing. You get a lanyard, so you get that discount. Then also what Madeline has created this, because this is way out of my tech comfort zone. Since we couldn't have meetings before Zoom now, and we're even talking about a Zoom kind of thing, but before that we knew we couldn't meet physically, so Madeline created a forum, much like a forum on the internet, much like TripAdvisor, but it's only for Astrid Travel Club members, to where we can discuss amongst ourselves about where's the best place to stay in London, or, where would you recommend this, or we post articles. But
the goal for the forum is to share relevant travel information and also encourage our members to share their own travel experiences and ask questions, and sort of crowdsource from people who think like them. Like we said earlier, birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah, and to also continue to build a camaraderie between the club, because what we would like is people to kind of travel together and get to know each other and take another trip and then give us an idea where they think is really cool, and Madeline and I will create something. Also, we've also decided that if you're a solo traveler and you want to go on one of these trips and you don't even want to go in a group, we can make that happen for you with this. We will facilitate everything on the itinerary for you. We're not travel agents. We're travel designers, and we design great travel experiences. So we'll even do that. So I guess we can wrap it up with that. I know this has been long, but I wanted you to kind of get to know who we are, why we're doing this. We're really doing this. And like I started the Astrid Solo Travel Advisor website, not only did I want to share my ideas of affordable luxury ideas, products, and services for the solo traveler, I really, in my heart, wanted to help foster peace, prosperity, and understanding among people in the world, because I've always believed if you can get to know somebody, then a lot of things will change. You won't have those fears of prejudice or whatever. So it's very important that we stick to getting to know each other, getting to accept our differences, getting to learn new things. And so, I told Madeline, I said, I want us to think about is, experience life through traveling with the Astrid Travel Club, because that's really our goal, is to help the world live, be enlivened, and learn to love and respect and be happy.
Yeah. If you're still with us, thank you for watching. If you're interested in joining us and you like our ideas, then visit AstridTravelClub.com, our brand new website, and join us.
Which she did. It's beautiful and it's still in evolution, but you'll see kind of the touch of our brand, and you'll be hearing a lot more from us. We're going to be doing short videos, longer, more informational videos. So stay well, and we look forward to meeting you.